Last Monday, I arrived at work with an empty tank of gas, occasioned by the fact that my car had drained most of the gas out on the way due to a failure in the gas fuel system. When I told my father that I had blown a fuel line, he thought I was crazy because most people know that your fuel lines are metal. And while that's true, there's a very short section of your fuel line between the metal fuel lines and the fuel injector rail that's not. This part, which is exactly what had failed. So you can probably just see it just here. There's this huge split, and I don't know if you can read this, but it says not for fuel injection systems. So I don't know who put this in the car because I didn't. But this little piece cost me 9 gallons of fuel and some consternation getting the car home and getting it back on the road. Ironically, it was also cheap, aside from the gas that I lost, because you have to buy this by the foot, and it cost literally $5 to buy some new hose that's correct hose that will hold the pressure of 50 psi in your fuel line and go back in. So literally, it was a $5 foot long, if you remember those days. And it begs the question of who does this and why does this happen? When I was married, my wife made the argument that I should not repair our cars because I was not qualified to do so, and that the repair stations were much more reliable. Well, I didn't put this in. I don't know who put this in there, but if this was done by a shop, then this is a crime. I mean, not literally speaking. I mean, just a crime against a person for cheating me because $5 of hose, the right hose, could have corrected and prevented this problem from ever happening. Now, it wasn't like it cost me a ton of money. What's 9 gallons right now? About $36 worth of fuel plus the hose, so about $40 because the repair was easy to do. There's just two radiator clamps on the end here, putting it in and then pressure testing it. Big whoop. So $40. It was also really easy to get to. It's $40. Cheap repair. Not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. But I made the counter argument to my wife at the time that there was no reason to believe that the person doing it wasn't doing it alone, unsupervised for the first time, or that they would necessarily do a better job because they were a professional and they were paid as part of a shop. Now, there's a warranty, maybe, but there's no guarantee. And are you really going to make a big deal out of a $40 over the warranty on bad work? No, it's not worth it. And it's funny because it would have been just as much money to do it right the first time. I'm sure they just found some hose. Oh, well, we put this in there and got it taken care of and back on the road. And who knows how long it's been? I mean, I've been divorced for almost 20 years now, so the hose definitely did its job, um, far beyond its lifespan. But the thing is that there's no guarantee that individuals who have the subject matter expertise or the credentials are going to do a necessarily better job than you. There is something to be said for DIY, and it's one of the reasons I like older cars and why I've kept a 95 Saturn for so long is because they're cars I can actually work on, and they're cars I can work on for relatively cheap. Including the gas, it cost me $40 to put my car back on the road. You can't touch a car in a shop or at a dealership and get out of there for $40. They're charging more than that for oil changes now because oil costs so much and stuff. I mean, even my car, the oil's $25 and the filter's $5, so it's $30 for an oil change. It used to cost me $15. So you can barely get out of a shop for that. And these newfangled cars, they're almost impossible to repair. They're almost impossible to do things on yourself. And they're not simple things that are just connected on with two radiator clamps and you drive away. They want you to go in and be dependent. One of the hallmarks of my belief system, the faith to which I belong, and the way I choose to live my life is self-reliance. Now, I got some help with this, but being able to do things for yourself saves you a ton of money and frees you. There are so many people out there who, if this had happened to them, would have had it taken to a shop or a dealership and they would have been hundreds of dollars in for a $5 part. Because you got to pay the people there for their time to diagnose, go get the part, put it in, and get you back on the road. Unfortunately, that did turn out to be all there was. I put 4 gallons of gas in it, I've now driven to work twice and haven't run out of gas. Drove to church, didn't run out of gas. Drove to the grocery store, didn't run out of gas. So it looks like this was all there was. But it's very interesting that this little tiny thing here caused such a big inconvenience. And if they'd put in the right part in the first place, we would have never had this problem. There's no guarantee that people who have the right titles are going to do a better job than you. And so if you can do a thing yourself, there's no reason not to try it. I know we make fun of people who do things themselves, and we make fun of people, who don't follow instructions. We make fun of a lot of men for insisting on doing things themselves, and their wives have to call a professional to fix what they broke. Except for if you can do it without calling a professional, you save a crap ton of money. This is easily a $200 fix solved for $40, including the gas I lost. What a great deal. So next time someone tells you that it's better to have someone else do it, give it some thought, give it some elbow grease, and if it's something like this that can be done for a song and a dance, then do it. You get a lot of satisfaction on the fact that in a single day, you're able to put your own car back on the road and save a ton of money without having to switch to Geico. Anyway, food for thought. Oh, and make sure you use the right thing. I still can't believe that they cut the part that says do not use for fuel injection systems. Seriously. It's right there. If they hadn't cut that section out, I might never have known. Sucker's born every minute, but you don't have to be that sucker. Anyway, make good decisions. Good luck with your travels and stay safe out there. Godspeed.